And Zoom is preparing to live stream the meeting of today. And that looks to be great. I'll grab the URL and I'll put it in my notes so I have it as well. I'm also recording on-prem, so in case I lose internet connection. So we're ready to go. I welcome everyone back, and I'm waiting for everyone to turn on their camera. So I see everybody's bright face. And Jake and Emilio and Duncan and Ethan and JC and Maria. Okay, we're getting everyone on. If there's some notes there, and Daniel, you can respond if you need to make sure we can do that. Okay, so we are here, and next week is what? Thanksgiving. Can you imagine? And basically, there are no classes on campus for next week. This is because we had, I guess, Labor Day. They need in the academic schedule, they need an extra day, and they're telling classes that they need to be online. For us, being online is just natural. Being in person is something unusual, which we've had already. Okay, so this is so my purpose for today is to talk about what is the rest of the semester going to be look like, and the rest of the semester, including exam times, will be focused in on the project. So today what I want to do is make sure that everybody understands what needs to be finished on their project. On December 2nd is the last day for our class to meet, right after coming back from Thanksgiving, and we will do in-class presentations. You will present hopefully, your final project. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to give you feedback on your final project in case there needs to be any additional corrections. I'd like to give you the extra chance to improve on it. Myself as a student, what I really didn't like is at the end, after I did a project, I would get feedback from a professor, and they said, you should add this to your project. And I was on the impression, I said, I wish I had that feedback earlier so I could make those corrections. So I think it's just a common courtesy for me to give to you is if you want to do the best work, is to get that back. Everybody understand that? So you understand that, Antonio? So your group presentation will be your best work, but if there's something that I think is missing, you have a chance to correct it. We also will have a short period of time to make a presentation. Our presentation will be short in time, so what I will do is have you assign it for the class presentation to one person in your group. That's why it will make it quicker. But after you do your presentation to me, then what you will do is go back to your group, make any corrections, any feedback that I've given you, you have an opportunity to correct. And then you as a group will make a final presentation. And how will you make that final presentation? You'll record it in Zoom. Do you understand that, Sienna? You'll record it in Zoom, and you'll record it how? To the cloud without a password, and everybody in your group will be part of the presentation. The presentation will be formal, as if you were going to be giving it to investors that know nothing about your project. I know about everybody's project, so when you're going to be giving my short presentation, my condensed presentation, sometimes I'll say, show me what I haven't seen before. Do you understand that, Sebastian? It'll be, I'll have you focus in. But when you do your formal presentation, after you get that as a group, you will be presenting it as if no one knows anything about your about your group. And you will be showing everything that is involved in your website, making sure that all the links are working, everything is done. Everybody in your group will be professional. And for instance, Nikita, what I suggest is when everybody's doing their presentation, I suggest that we look formal. Even though I love your head background here and your pillow, I'd rather you in your professional presentation give a background that is professional. Everybody understand that? And even and you don't have to dress up in a suit or anything like that, but it's just that you have to have just proper attire, and that, for instance, that you show yourself right in the screen. Some of you, your eyes are, all I see is the eyes, and a lot of Arnav, like there's a lot overhead. Try to make yourself center on the screen, and that you understand, professional. Everybody needs to show their face when they present, but sharing your screen. It's not going to be a lot of, basically you'll be introducing yourself, introducing your team, and it'll be introducing your team, like I had said before, Clark, not as we're group 3. For myself, it's group 3, but as the professional one, it's we are such and such, and then you list everybody with your names. Also, and I'm going to go into specifics, what I want for your last slide is a list, first name, last name of everyone in your team, and specifically what tasks they did. So for instance, social media did TikTok and Instagram, possibly did, Notebook LM, whatever task that you did, in bullet points what each person did. I'm giving you an overview of it. After your presentations, you will also be required to do peer evaluations. That means you will be taking it as a quiz, just like you took quizzes from Wiley. Everyone will be graded on their submission of their peer review. Their peer review will consist of evaluating yourself objectively and everyone in the group, and their strengths and their weaknesses, and giving a grade. We'll go over that basically the next time we meet. We'll be going over that, but we'll have all of that set up. So we'll have at the end, after you do your final presentations and after you do your recordings and uploads, you'll be doing your peer evaluation. Your peer evaluations and all the uploads will be due before our final exam date. We will not, in this case, Sasha, we will not have a final exam. That second exam was the last exam that we took. We had exam 1 and exam 2. On Monday, I'll be releasing our exam scores. There's a couple of issues I have with other students that I need to adapt to, but on Monday, I will be releasing it, and there will be a curve, and it'll be the same thing. There'll be the first part and the second part. And usually the first part is curved, the second part is usually straight. Okay, I'm going to go into specifics now, but overall, does everybody understand what we're doing? Basically, I'll be going over all our assignments today about what is required for you in today's class. I'll end class hopefully a bit early so I can deal with some of the students. We had some issues on the second exam especially, and those that you're having problems with the exam. And then next Monday, which is kind of like an in-between where people are usually going away, basically off campus. I'll be having class, and what I'll do in that class is I'll be looking at people's websites. So you say, hey, Dr. Rush, can you and Daniel look at our website to see how do we have everything before our presentation? Because ideally, what would be great is that you would have it complete for the presentation and there'll be little done. And I'll say, hey, that's, Clark, hey, that's perfect, ready to go. Just do your recordings and move on. But if there are issues, I'll be candid to let you know rather than saying, hey, we didn't understand that. Questions? Daniel, any comments?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And in this ACN, anything that I need to know about?
There's nothing in the chat.
Okay, good. So let me share my screen. I'll share. I'll move this down a bit. Down below here. And let me go to the content. Okay. And in this case, if everybody can look for me under what's due, you'll see that on November 13th, your final project 4 update should have been done. And then on December 2nd, it will be in class. Everybody in your team needs to appear. Assign at least 1 or 2 people to do the presentation for myself. And you have assignment instructions in the final projects in class presentation to professor. So let me go to assignment instructions and everybody follow along with me. Go to assignments instruction and it should say final project in class presentation. And let's look at it. And in this case, it says here, final project in class presentation. Goals, present your project to the professor for feedback. Present to professor on December 2nd. We'll start with group 1 and go down. And you should have your slides, everything. It'd be good then, even if we could do that, is have that on their final project. They can then load. Daniel will show that. Did you do that already? Do the folder in your section?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay, so we'll show that. Okay, you will do roughly a 7-minute live presentation of your material to your professor for final feedback. Assign 1 person in the group to present for in-class for efficiency. Make a short PowerPoint, Google Slides presentation. Some of the things that you may want to even think about is making even a longer presentation, but you can skip some of those slides if we don't have time. So that way, later on, when you're doing your formal presentation, but I don't want a lot of slides. I'd rather you go into your website. So introduce your project name and your group members as a slide, and then showcase all of your website. So I would do a couple of slides basically talking about introducing your project name, maybe a slide on what is the mission or what is the problem you're trying to solve in this case, and then have a slide where people can click on your URL. So have a slide that you'll have a separate slide, and maybe you want to make corrections then, Daniel, as I'm going through this, I don't know, but have a slide then of your URL so I can do it or someone else, once they get your deck, they can see it as well. Plus you'll have your Zoom recording later on. So what I want to see is have that showcase all the pages on your website. So you'll be screen sharing, going through your website via your browser. We're going to be doing this with Zoom. I'll be recording it on my end. And you can show that social media buttons are all working. You want to show that you have enough posts on each of your social media pages. You want them also not even that you have enough, but their quality. So they're quality posts, not just in numbers. You want to show your team page. Again, we talked about the team page should not only have your pictures there, but a description of your role and a short little art that showing what is your role in your team. Show if you have bookings that work, show all your videos. Remember that each student has to record their own video on one of the AI tools. And right next to it, rather than just saying this is ChatGPT or this is Notebook LM, make a couple of lines of what is this video about. Have that next to it, provide a summary writing of the on the website what each video showcase. Doesn't have to be long. You could even, there are now a number of Gen AI apps that will even do that for you. Show that your Fastbot works by chatting with it a few times, making sure that that works. Show your Notebook LM podcast that it works. Show your contact pages, anything that you want to highlight. You can go back to the presentation for the rest of your slides. You can showcase your SEO dashboard. You can show your Fastbot dashboard with an overview of what it will look like. So you can show what I suggest as who was asking. So on your Fastbot, what I would do here, at least everyone in your group, you may be even able to point that out, Daniel, that have at least everyone in your group try out the Fastbot and ask questions. So that way you'll have filled out your dashboard. Everybody see that? You understand that, Sienna? So on your Fastbot dashboard, have everyone in your group try it out. And everyone in your group should be checking all the links. Just because somebody did it doesn't mean, oh, I'm not, let's not be, it's everybody, it's your team's project. Whatever you did is an individual, but it's really, you should check out each of your bots and you should check out each of your videos, each other, and give feedback to each other. Right? Because in this case, then you can improve it. You say, hey, whatever it is, Mary, whoever that is, you can give that person feedback, that it should be using shared screen. It shouldn't just be somebody just talking about it. You can, just as well as I know what is a good presentation, what is a good website. So it'll look like this. So if you can be so kind, Daniel, and showcase this, put everyone should have used the Fastbot. So this way your dashboard will be populated. Okay, and last slide, each member of your group, you want to have like the list of your slides of each member of your group and state specifically what each person contributed to the project. This is in terms of tasks. This is not an evaluation. Later on, what you will be doing in your peer review, you will not only have this listed, but for instance, Sienna, you will evaluate yourself, list what you've done, how well you've done each of those tasks, and grading, and also each member of your group. What I found out is this is a difficult time in the peer review because people are uncomfortable about evaluating each other, but it's important in us to do that fairly. And our section HI, the last assignment, which is basically doing the recording, doing the peer review. I'll be going over that again on the 25th, but that final recording in detail is due on 12/9 because that's when our exam is due at 4:30 p.m. If your group, Sienna, finishes early, you can upload it early. Doesn't mean that it has to be at 12/9, but I'm using that as that is our final exam date. So I'm using that as our cutoff when our project is due. It will be not accepted after that date. And that is really a shame because then it's zero for all the work that you do. So what I suggest is you don't wait till 4:30 because guess what? What can happen is Blackboard is what? On premise or in the cloud? It's in the cloud. Can Blackboard service be a problem? Yes. Can there be a problem with internet? Yes. Can there be a problem with Wi-Fi? Yes. We know all the problems are, so we don't want to wait to that 4:30. What I like even to do is to do it at least a day before that, hey, everything is working, everything is uploaded, and everyone in the group check to make sure what is uploaded. What I have sometimes they say, oh, I left that to whatever teammate one, and I never checked. Does the link work? I never checked to see. I just expected them to do it. So everyone that's responsible, even though you say, hey, at this point, it is there. So maybe it's a good idea. Once you finish all the recordings and everything is done, I would do it right after the recording since everybody is in the group. Submit it at that time. Once that recording is done, everybody's in the group and everybody check. Because it could work on your end and it doesn't work on anyone else's end. So congratulations, now you've finished your final project. And this is Daniel saying, go enjoy other elements of your life. And I say, enjoy what you've done and be proud of what you've done. That's what I say. Daniel says other elements. I think this is a big element. Okay. So this is it. So if I go to the final group projects, right, and you can see under final group project, you all put in your URL and your names on the final group project. What I like to do for instance, under group session, I would even call that, instead of corrections, I would call it final. I make a folder. So let's make a folder, call it final project. And under final projects, under that folder, put the URL, put no feedback given, but in this case, not no feedback given, for instance, in this case, say feedback and corrections of what they've done. And then inside the folder, then upload your PowerPoint. And in this case, not only this is the point in which they need to have their URL of their recording. So I would put right here, put right next to it. This would be a folder, put right next to it. This is the link, the project link, and put another link of the Zoom recording, and put in parentheses, no password, and to the cloud. So record to the cloud. So this way I have a link rather than you having to bother to upload.
Do you want within the folder the page with the feedback and the corrections, or should that be the label of the folder?
Label, I think it should be your final project, and right underneath it.
And then
under
within the
the
folder, they'll
items.
put their PowerPoint and their video and everything.
Yes, in the
Okay.
folder
If you
itself.
refresh, I did that already.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in this case, and here, I would also put feedback right, what feedback did you get and or even what corrections you got. But here I would also put right in here, link, Zoom link.
Okay.
Put down here, Zoom link, and then put in here, recorded to the cloud, no password. So it's clear there. So we can look at it right away. And if I want to look at any of your other, your PowerPoints should be loaded in here in the final project. Any other things that you wanted, any other media that you decided to do on your own should be within that final project. I like to show what everything is supposed to be for the whole semester because it really isn't, much. But in this case, I don't know. Do you think, Daniel, we need the feedback from December 2nd with the professor, just corrections that were made since the feedback, since December 2nd?
Probably corrections that were made.
Yeah, corrections that were made rather than the feedback. I don't need to waste a lot of lines there. You know what I mean? So I take out the feedback from December, corrections made since December 2nd. Just they can list bullet points. And they've made those corrections that we can look at. So it gives me guidance, right, Daniel, when I'm looking at it. We've already assessed it, right, Daniel? And this way you have like guidance of what to look at, We added more social media, whatever, this link didn't work, or we reworded, whatever ideas. So this would be the final project. So under this, if I go to group 0, right, then I can see it. Okay. So what I think is to use the 25th, we'll have regular class, but I think I'll use it that if you say, I'd like to get feedback from myself and Daniel, I'll be open to give people open feedback, and then others can even see it. Sometimes, Sienna, when you see somebody else's project and you hear what my feedback, guess what? It's going to be the same as for your group's feedback, right? That this is not correct, that this type of thing. So that's what I'll be using on the 25th is I'll be giving feedback to people on, if you have other ways in which, hey, we did it this way, we're not sure. Okay. So that is should be in the final group, and you should be able, right, that I think everybody has their URL now. It in there, and everybody can see each other's. That's the beauty of why we call it, even in this case, right? Why we call it so. So in this case, and you may even want to just do that now, just so you know that, make sure that you have it saying final project, and you'll put that. You'll wait till the Zoom link recorded to the cloud. You'll give your Zoom link. And then you have the corrections made since December 2nd with Professor. And you know what? Instead of the date there, I would say corrections made. From feedback with Professor.
Okay.
Rather than December 2nd. And then the Zoom link that you're going to be doing afterwards, is professional, and it will cover much more than what you're going to be presenting to me. And it will be, as I said before, as if to investors, they know nothing about your project and you want maybe them to invest in you. That's how I see it. And somebody could take that on, you know, you could sell the whole site, Sienna, you got the URL, and you could say, hey, I'll work with you on that site. Or you could be able, buy the whole thing from me and we'll be consultants from you, whatever. As I said before, some of my students have in the past taken on this and made a business out of it, and some have even sold their domain name with their website. Tell their company, say, hey, that's pretty neat. I love that domain name. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing now. So if I can get everybody's webcam on, we can see. So Sienna, what are we doing on Monday?
On Monday, right now, the folder should be made with the final group project with the URL. And then Monday, it's gonna be like gone over.
Yeah, so basically I'll use Monday since it's kind of like a moving day. People are at their Thanksgiving destination or in progress. I'll use it as a day in which you want feedback. I take advantage of it, but it's up to you, the groups at that stage of saying, hey, give us feedback on how this is performing. And then because you got that whole week off, you say, oh, that's great. December 2nd, make sure that your travel, plans are there. But on December 2nd, the beauty here is we're online. So theoretically, you could be anywhere in the world, right, on December 2nd and doing the presentation. Questions on that? Sebastian, do you have any question? It's clear. And then I'll
I have a
go
quick
through it.
question.
What's the question?
For the videos of each classmate and the AI tools, is it just like any AI tool we use to either help build our website and like the AI tools that we're using for?
No, what basically we're
Okay.
doing is those are the AI tools that you're recommending, not the AI
Okay.
tools that you use to create your website, but
Perfect.
rather our process is what? How would you describe it? Dalton, how would you describe the videos? Let me just hear from somebody before I say it. What
I
are
would
those videos supposed to describe?
just describe like how they can be used for the reason.
Your idea, what is your if you think about it, what is your project then? Who was asking that question? Was that Shane? Shane, what is your project?
I asked the question.
I know who asked the question. Okay,
Dalton.
Dalton asked the question.
Yeah.
So what is your project?
We're doing like AI tools to help with resumes, interviews, cover letters.
Right. So he's doing with resumes. So those tools that will help you with resumes,
Okay.
each student will then take a tool to help with the resumes.
So we
Right?
only have three
Describe
tools.
it. What?
We only have three tools. Should we
Well,
just have?
how many? So you need to get another couple, right? So each person's supposed to
Beginning
be
we said
doing
we
it,
were only supposed
or
to-
use some of the tools in a different way.
All right, cool. Sounds great.
Yeah,
Sounds
you
great.
understand? So if those were three tools, a lot of these tools, if I think about Notebook LM, right, there's a lot of things I can do with Notebook LM. I can do podcasts, I can submit with quizzes. So there's different that one tool, you can do many different processes. And if I think about resume building, there's a lot of different things I can do with those resumes, right? So it has to be coordinated. So Dalton, if there's two people in your group, right, that are doing it, you have to coordinate. Like if you're doing let's say Chat GPT for building a resume, you have to be able to look at each other's videos to say, are we duplicating? You don't want to be talking about the same thing, right? Or you may want to be doing an evaluation. Let me compare doing ChatGPT with Gemini, with Claude, on which ones would do better for practicing for an interview. You understand that? So it could be what you're going to be showing is you're going to be showing them Gen AI tools, and you're giving examples here on how you could help other people, either teaching them about the tool or even you providing the service. So for instance, in FastSpot, for instance, the owner there said, we'll give you the tool, but if you want us, we'll manage FastSpot and we'll create it for your company. So it may be you're adult and you're teaching them those tools, and if they want, we can help you actually improve your resume. Rather than the tool itself, we can use these tools to help you do those resumes. Okay. That's good that we talk about it. You understand? That even though we were saying in the midst of 3, it'd be good if each person it would be good for each person to have it, a different one, but these are so condensed that you can use it for a number of different things. Just like if I were in education, right? I was doing tutoring, I can use ChatGPT helping a student with an open-ended question or writing multiple choice questions. It can, help me, or doing flashcards. Or in hiring, I could have it help me, ChatGPT help me practice for my interview, Dalton, and also help me, here's my resume, improve my resume for me for a salesperson versus for a technical job. And make it interesting, right? What you would want to see. And what do we want? We want it short, but show me how I could do something. Think about yourself viewing it. Rather than think about it, Dalton, God, I have to do this for the class. I have to do a checkoff. The same thing for social media, right? What would inspire you in social media to have some clips about? And then you could even take some of those clips and make some of those clips for your social media. You can reuse some of those materials too, Dalton, right? That it could be, so it could even added a number of those that you could have to, maybe you had a 5-minute, you can break it down to a 1-minute clip. But it should be yours. It shouldn't be, this is group 3, for BTE 210. Nobody cares you're group 3 or group 7, that's for us internally. But for the outside world, it is Dalton's resume, help me get a job, right? And it's hard to kind of get started. We'll show you ways in which to help you get started or help you improve or whatever. And the FastSpot, you could even use the FastSpot as one of your videos even. You've installed it. You can even use that to show people, hey, this we can put on you can put it on your website, or you can put it on your email at the end. Tells you about, that'd be good, Dalton, to tell you about yourself. Put your resume into FastSpot, just like you put your resume into Google, into Notebook, create a podcast for yourself that they talk about you, and create a FastSpot that they could then basically type in, tell me about Dalton's hobbies, tell me about Dalton's strengths, tell me about what Dalton wants to do with himself. Use yourself as an example. Isn't that neat? You're already using it. You're already showcasing about your company. Now say, hey, you can do it on your own. You like this podcast? Let me show you how to do it. And how long does that take? Or we can do it for you. You don't want to do it? We'll have that service. Makes sense, Dalton?
Yeah,
What?
so that makes complete sense. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, but also what I like is reusability. I've already created a FastSpot, I've already created a podcast on my company. Now let me show you how to create it for you as a person or you as a company, for you as your resume, right? Here, go to my link, right, and ask about Dalton. And you don't even have to have a website. They may give you a link. You can put it onto your email when you're applying for your job. You can put it on your resume. You can put it on your LinkedIn. Tell me about it. And later on, what the new version is going to be is he's going to make it conversational, that you can talk to it and it'll talk back just like any other. So I don't have to type, tell me about Dalton. I'll just say it just like I am now. Why should I hire Dalton? What is his key strengths, or what is his major, or what is his work experience, whatever. Reuse them. And even if this way, if there's one, you can have samples. Nobody's saying you can't have more than one per person, But you're given, and these you can say in your website, these are samples of what we are presenting. These are not all the tools, but this is giving you a sample of what we can do for you. And since apps, do you think they're going to be static, Dalton? Of course. Every week there's something new out. And what we can do as a company is we can give you feedback. You don't have time to keep on looking in the resume field or the hiring field. We'll keep you up to date. And maybe later on you can subscribe. We can give our services free. And if you want, we can kind of give you personal attention or something. Later on, we can charge for. But if we get a number of groups following, that may be enough. And then we could get sponsors, Dalton, from all these companies that were promoting these products. Fastbot, I'm sure, if you could bring them 20 paying customers, you could be their sponsor. They could sponsor you with a little ad. Sponsored by Google, sponsored by Fastbot, sponsored by Wix. Why do you think Wix is giving us that academic partnership? Everybody's in business, right? What is it? That when you finish what? When you finish graduating, you have to do a recommendation for somebody. They expect, okay, for when we present, you want us to present our slides and then our website. You decide, but you can do is even in the middle. You can present some of your slides and then go to your website, and then you can come back to your slides.
The reason I was asking that was just because our slides have all the information that we're putting on our slides is already on our website.
But I would like it to actually see it. I'd like to see the links working and so forth. Because you can do, Connor, you can do some slides, but I'd still like to see the overall.
Yeah, well,
going on the website.
I was thinking like our website could show everything that we need to show. Like I
okay,
feel like
but I want some.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
But I want some slides of showing the mission. What are you doing? You know what I mean? You decide where we're going. There could be a way of what we're going to do next. What's our ideas? What is our purpose? That some things you don't want, to add. I'll leave that up to you. You understand, Connor? But I want there to be a slide with your URL that I can click on it, that I can see. But there's sometimes you'll have a set of slides. And some of the slides, Connor, what you can do is some of these you could skip. Have them as slides, but skip. And you'll use, Connor, in your formal presentation.
Okay.
Because you're only going to have 7 minutes with me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You know what I mean? My goal with you is not even, I'll even sometimes, Connor, abruptly interrupt you. I don't want to be rude, but you understand, it's almost like I want to get to the point of what's almost, I'll be looking at what's lacking. So it may be even a way that you're going to get a little bit disjointed. You say, hey, you gave us 2, but what about the other things? I'll mention, oh, this looks good, but I'll skip over the parts that look good because I want to emphasize the things that you still need to do for your final project. What's missing?
Okay.
Does that answer you, Connor?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to be able to see it, and I like sometimes to see it live. You know what I mean? That's why for myself, I'd like to see it more of the things live, but you also have PowerPoint because what it is sometimes you can show the deck, you can pass on the deck to somebody, Connor, where they say sometimes they don't have internet access or something like that. They've seen that deck and they say, oh, this is somebody that we should invest in. Because what I've had before is even I have connection with those that have, as a matter of fact, I think I mentioned to it, remember Ninja Trader, the president of Ninja Trader, as a matter of fact, Sebastian, he used to be the CFO, he's a CPA, used to be CFO. He got promoted to be president of Ninja Trader. After he retired, he ended up doing a venture fund with some other CPAs that were retired, and they were looking for young talent that were in the beginning stages. And what he does is invest in them from the, beginning stages. So, and he's done a number of different ones. So what he wanted sometimes is just to get that slide deck, Connor. He wanted just that slide deck just to see what were their ideas on it, and then he could go to the URL if they wanted. So it depended on who it was. So I want you to be able to take that with you. Sometimes those URLs also are later on were broken. Like Dalton had problems with the Wix. At least you'll have it there. You understand? You'll have everything as said. It's nice that you have extra slides of your website, that you have it there. Because guess what? How about if Wix, goes down or something like that? You still have your idea that you can recreate. But it's a good question, Connor. Thanks. What else do I need to know? Anything else, Daniel? I think that was worthwhile that we kind of said with the final that we see the whole process.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So this way everybody sees where do we go. Don't wait. Don't put me in a waiting room. I want to see if I'm already advanced. I want to see really where we're going, and you can practice that. What I'd suggest even is you can even beforehand. You can even practice. Doing a Zoom with your group before even the presentation. You can do that. You can have it as on the side, and if it's good enough, you can even use that. And say, hey, we'll do the Zoom as a practice session. Sometimes you need to practice more than once to get it smooth. That you have it there, so you can even do as a practice before we are going to do our presentation on that second. And the beauty isn't that so great, Sienna, that even wherever you are in Thanksgiving, you can work with your group, right? Hopefully everybody will be at a place where they have, internet access. So once I have that, I can do even the practice session there. So Monday, we're ready to go. Feedback. Anything else that I need to discuss? Daniel, you think of anything, or I think we discussed it. So you can make those corrections too I'm sure you did already.
Yeah, I did.
I know, you're so great. All right. And I want to thank, I always do that, but I just wanted to thank it formally, Daniel's work for us. Don't you? I think he deserves really a round of applause, especially really for myself. I think he's, I must admit, I do this and think about it. Daniel started as one of my students and then became, was it last semester, Daniel?
Yeah, in the spring.
In the spring. Doesn't it sound like he's been for years, but he was last semester, and he right away he became a teaching assistant in training, and then we promoted him this semester to be my teaching assistant, and he's done a remarkable job, and I think it really helps. especially I think, especially since we're online, but I think in general, in terms of, I think I like it because he has like a student perspective. Sometimes when you're in that different role, he knows number one, he knows what it was like last semester, right? And also it's just being a student and, of the challenges that you guys face. So I just truly, it's almost like it being able to do a peer instructor, you know what I mean, of doing it. So I just sometimes I may be kind of curt, I said do this, do that, Daniel, but I truly, in the bottom of my heart, do appreciate all his work. So any of you that are interested, we've reached out to a couple of you, but any of you that are interested for next semester of doing, of either teaching assistant or teaching assistant and training or something, that Daniel will kind of be your kind of mentor on that, of what to do and how he's doing it and improvements to the class. Next semester, I'm going to be going to number of conferences. Every year I go to my favorite vacation. Other people go skiing. What is my favorite vacation is going to Consumer Electronics Show. So I go as press and also as a mentor to a number of companies. So what I love about that place is I usually love to go to, there's a section where there's startups from around the world. Like they'll have the Netherlands, they'll have a number of different countries plus others, number of universities, and I love to find out what everyone is doing and then look at possibilities to do academic partnerships and things. So I have in mind already a couple of new ones and the beauty here, since it's online, we don't need, before it used to be they had to physically come to the class. Here, they don't have to even physically come. So I think the FastBot was interesting. They're going to improve and they're going to get into voice conversation. I like that about FastBot. And I'm also an advisor to the city of Coral Gables. I didn't think about it, Daniel, but what I wanted to do with FastBot is to introduce him to the IT innovation director of the city of Coral Gables. And
That would
I
be pretty
think,
cool.
and then I think that they would be amenable to use his services too, because they have the city of Coral Gables is what they call a smart city. And I help them in terms of their technology, and it'd be great that, so remind me, we can set that up. I think they would be super eager, to do it. Because I mentioned to our university, and our university is so concerned about their security that they do a lot of blocks that I think is I'm not in agreement with, but I think the city of Coral Gables, would be more amenable to try that out, and it'd be great that he could do that. So remind me on that. Okay, guys. So I'm going to do attendance and then stay with me after class. If you have issues, I'll stop the recording and share that. And otherwise, I'll see people on Monday for what I call open. I'm open for you. Show me what you got. I'll give you my feedback for it so you can have the best presentation possible, Connor, for that following Monday, and then you can proceed. Okay, so let me share my screen. Go back to my other content, go back to attendance. Loading, taking its lovely time. For quickly doing check-in. And what is the problem here? Why is it not doing my? You have 2 minutes. Let me just stop this. Start checking. 5320. Okay, so 5320, 5320, if you want to put that in the chat, Daniel. And then I'll see people have a safe travels if you're traveling anywhere. And Monday I'll be at your beck and call, and then on the 2nd we'll proceed. Okay? And anything else I need, Daniel? I'm going to stop 5320. I'm going to stop sharing, and those that need to speak with me will speak with me. So let me stop